Hey, what's going on, good people? Welcome to Russ Can't Fly. Let's get it. All right, so you know the deal. Before I go, I always want to give some subscriber shout outs. And of course, this is no exception. So I want to give some subscriber shout outs to Jamil Agard, Royal Logan, and Tony Spray. Jamil, Royal, and Tony Spray, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. It really means a lot. I really appreciate the support. It means a lot to me. All right, so let's get into this flight. So I gotta shake the dust off. The one thing that happens, weather, holidays, all that kind of stuff, I haven't flown. And so the one thing about flying, use it or lose it, is an understatement. And so I got to get back in the skies, going to do a nice little cross country, and I'm going to do a cross country to an airport that I'm familiar with, because since I haven't flown, I don't want to throw a lot of new stuff at me or at myself. And so I'm going to, fly cross country to deck and just make sure I got my skills up. All right. So I'm all prepared. Gonna do some preliminary stuff, get this engine started, and we are out. Okay, prop. All right, so let's do our brake test. Brakes are good. All right, let's taxi on out of here. Gonna be taking runway 5. Okay, so in the last video, I talked about aeronautical decision making, and that's a big safety measure. But believe it or not, deciding to or not to fly is also a huge safety measure. You can get rusty, and of course, between the holidays and the weather, the snowstorms, it's been hard to find time on the schedule. So flying for proficiency is very important. All right, so one of the things that I'm really trying to focus on, since I haven't been flying and I'm a little rusty, is really working my checklist. And every time I get in, it's always something new with the avionics. And so I'm just trying to take it slow, take it easy, not rush. Because there's always a little bit of nerves, and I don't want my nerves to kind of get in the way. So I'm going to go up here, do a run-up, be very methodical about my run-up. I've got my comm set in the way I need to. And I'm going to check the weather, and we're going to get on out of here. One of the things that's going to be happening is at Doylestown, and I don't know if you can see out here, but these little blue things, they're beginning to do some work out here. They're going to be really fixing up the runway and stuff, so that's going to be cool. All right, so let me get back to work here, pull up, get this run-up done. All right, so doors and windows are locked, the flaps are up, carb heat is off, fuel tanks on both trims set for takeoff. Doylestown traffic, Cessna 734 Alpha Uniform departing runway 5 out to the west, Doylestown. Mixture's full rich, flaps are up, trim is set for takeoff, fuel tanks on both, heading indicator is moving, bow is opposite. Alright, I see 23, 23, 23, heels to the floor, full power.
Doylestown traffic, Sirius 104 mile final for 23 Doylestown.
Alright, engine instruments in the green, oil temp, oil pressure. All look good. And she's ready to fly. I don't know what the heck that was. So apparently on takeoff, you saw this little shake and my camera kind of dropped down. I think there was just too much load on the front landing gear. So I probably need to soften that up. But see, that goes to this whole point of not being rusty when you fly. Beautiful up here today. Doylestown traffic, Cessna 734 Alpha Uniform, right crossing turn out to the west. Last call for Doylestown. Alright, so going up to 45. Gonna be my cruising altitude.
Skymanner traffic, South 215 Sierra, turning left crosswind, runway 25, Skymanner.
Climb checklist, power, mixture keeping it there, instruments, turn off the taxi landing light, and we're climbing. A little hazy. Yeah, it was definitely nice weather in terms of winds, but it was a little hazy. And climb.
Traffic south 215
Checklist
turning
complete.
left downwind runway 2.
Alright, everything is in the green. Oil temp, oil pressure. If you believe, I am climbing out at 1,500 feet a minute. That is just nuts, man. This plane is a beast. Alright, so I'm just waiting to get to my cruise altitude, 4,500. Still climbing like crazy. I mean, it's just, I've never seen this before, and it is so smooth. I mean, this is just such a smooth day. And she was climbing so fast. Alright, so get our cruise checklist. So power, mixture, and instruments. Alright, so pull some power. And I'm watching my tack as I lean it out. Basically, as I'm doing the mixture, I'm leaning it out for altitude. All right, so seeing a little drop. Just get us back in a little bit. And we're good. So now I'm checking my instruments. Instruments look good. Compass and heading indicator are matching. And suction, oil temp, oil pressure all look good. And so now it's time to settle in and fly onto deck. I've got about another 48 nautical miles till I get there. And now I just get to hang out with all you good people while I'm flying. And so one of the things that I'm going to do on this flight again, and it's just knocking off the rust. Not going to do a whole lot. Trying to do some straight and level flight. And just in case you're wondering, how fast am I flying? So right now, I am flying, indicated on my instrument, about 122 to 123 miles per hour, which ain't bad at all. And I've actually got the power pulled back to 2350.
5 minute trap.
So, yeah, so we're doing good. So I want to stay on my heading, like it's going to be about almost like 250. So I can't stress enough that keeping your skills sharp and not getting rusty is absolutely important. It's crazy how quickly the feel of flying can go, and a lot of flying is feeling. So I will say that flying an airplane, man, never gets old. And the thought does cross my mind to at some point have my own airplane, so I won't have to worry about renting. Now, renting out of Doylestown has been awesome. They've been a breeze. Yeah, so renting has its pluses and minuses. I mean, it's what I have to do for now. I do have the flight club option. I've begun to look into that a little bit. There's actually a flight club out of Doylestown that I've been thinking about checking out. I mean, one of the things there is that you have to be recommended by one of the members, and I don't know if I know anybody who flies in that flight club. So if anybody's watching this video and sees me talking about the Doylestown Flight Club, I do have some interest. But yeah, but that's another angle that you can do. You can join a flight club, and that's a little bit more predictable than renting, because you're not fighting with the students and, you know, the flight school and all that kind of stuff. Access to aircraft is always an issue, whether training or renting to fly yourself. But yeah, I mean, this is
traffic south 21582, clear runway.
Definitely awesome. All right, so while I am thinking about it, I'm gonna switch frequencies here. So I'm currently on Doylestown CTAF 12297. So now I'm switching to deck, which is 122.8. I got that in there, and I'm gonna switch.
South Jersey Regional 999 Hotel Bravo, turning base, South Jersey.
118875 for the CTAF.
5 miles.
Or their AWAS 18845. I noticed that out of like the first skill to kind of leave is my ability to put frequencies in to the various nav aids. Now, Some of that has to do with the fact that I fly different 172s out of Doylestown, and they have different avionics and different communication equipment. But still, sometimes it just, the whole skill set just poof, it's gone.
So yeah, so that's pretty much what's going on. Just enjoying this flight life, trying to figure out the best way to stay engaged with flying. But yeah, so this is just a shake the dust off, get the feel, and you know, it was, I definitely felt a little bit of the rust. I wasn't too bad. Where it will show up is on the landing. Sight picture, all of that kind of stuff.
Talk about foreshadowing. Oh boy. Yep. Landing definitely separates wheat from chaff big time.
And I'm thinking about flying and landing in wings as part of this cross country. We'll see. I'm always leery because there's a TFR, and definitely not trying to get a military escort. Definitely not the type of excitement that a brother's trying to have right now. No weather yet, and the reason why I'm trying to get the weather is that will determine what runway I land on. All right, so you can see this little mountain range up here, and of course nothing impressive like the Rockies, but you know, still a little something for me. But yeah, I just appreciate the opportunity to fly over them. Oh, it's so much fun. I haven't flown in something this smooth in a long time, and I definitely appreciate it. All right, so where are we? So we're about 31 nautical miles from deck, and humming along. All right, 24. That's a little off, like 245. No, that's good. 45, 245. Low tip, low pressure suction, all look good. So we are making our way. Hear that? It's barely, like I'm trying to get the weather so I can see which runway I'm gonna land on. You can barely hear it. There?
Downwind, runway 19.
So as I get closer, it'll be easier to hear. And it's interesting how hazy. I mean, look at that. It's like, I mean, I can see, but it's definitely hazy. But see that, like, it's just hazy. But I can see, which is the most important thing, is the visibility is good. So I think I'm gonna be flying, landing on runway 19. So I'll catch the winds. This is how I know I'm always getting close to deck, or at least in that direction. Just these kind of mountain ranges. And then it just gets real open around here. Lots of farms and stuff like that.
You would think with that openness it would be easier to see the airport, but the opposite is actually true. It's very difficult to see deck because it blends in. It looks like a road, and the buildings look like chicken coops or chicken houses.
I gotta watch my altitude. Been doing pretty good. I mean, this plane makes it easy because she's just trimmed out so nicely. Now, see traffic should be at my 12 o'clock, but 1,000 feet down.
Archer 865 Golf.
Should be a factor.
Flying W traffic.
And that's the one thing about visual flight rules.
Flying W traffic, Archer 865 Golf.
All of this is good. I've got my Garmin set for deck for awareness. I've got my iPad, but the most important instrument are these ocular devices. Oh, that's right, because that's how I know ready. So see that? Might not be able to see the flashing light, but if you look right down there, right out front, like off to the right of my nose, that's Reading Airport. And I've had some issues flying into that airport only because it's right over this ridge, right? So I'm trying to get to traffic pattern altitude to set up for my landing, and I'm always worried about what's going on up here. But we are overflying Reading today, so not an issue. I do need to fly to Reading at some point because it's a towered field and I need to practice my comms. I've been sticking it out. Now, this isn't wasted flying because, again, this is all about straight and level, which is important once I start doing instrument, because when air traffic control, ATC, gives you a heading and an altitude, boom. None of this, you get to fart around and play around with it. You got to be on it, period. And so that's why I'm really trying to dial that in specifically. It's always cool to see the traffic patterns and the roads. Okay, so let's start our descent. So mixture is full rich, carb heat, and let's start descending. Deck traffic, Cessna 734 Alpha Uniform, about 10 miles east of the field, inbound from runway 19 deck. All right, so I am descending, trying to keep it a nice, calm descent, 500 feet per minute. I think what happens is, so look up here. So I think the reason why I have some difficulty, because there's like these open areas and these white buildings, they look like you know, airport stuff, but some of them are chicken coops and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, it's difficult for a brother. All right, so I'm looking for the field. Deck traffic, Cessna 734 Alpha Uniform, about 5 miles east of the field, inbound from runway 1, gonna overfly the field and join the left downwind from runway 1 deck. I haven't landed on runway 1 in a while.
150 is crosswind 01 deck.
Alright, so let's get our landing checklist, our pedal test, brakes, get our landing light on, autopilot is off, and I have seat backs, mixture is best power, carb heat is already on, fuel is on both, and flaps as required. Deck traffic, Cessna 734 Alpha Uniform, going to be overflying the field. Got the touch and go, traffic in sight. Crossing midfield for left downwind from runway 1 deck. Alright, so see him?
You have full stop at deck.
Affirmative for 734 Alpha Uniform.
Okay, I'll come in behind you, leave you enough space to back taxi then.
Alright, thank you for that, sir. And see, that's the part, the communication is key. It's really interesting to see this sight picture is really different without the horn. And deck traffic, Cessna 734 Alpha Uniform, turning left downwind for runway 1 deck. Alright, let's get configured carb heat. First notch
traffic,
flaps.
Cessna 150 on the north side of the quarry, turning at downwind runway 01 deck number 2.
Wait for the 45, because I don't want to rush. Deck traffic, Cessna 734 Alpha Uniform, left base for runway 1 deck. Alright, let's get our second notch of flaps in there. And remember, don't do another one. Deck traffic, Cessna 734 Alpha Uniform, turning final for runway 1 deck.
So as I make my turn to make my first landing on this rusty pilot cross country, remember that foreshadowing about the landing? Yep, it's about to show up. And since this video is going a little long after the landing, we're gonna have this be part 1 to see if in part 2 of Rusty Pilot, if I get my act together. But let's watch this landing and we're gonna take it on to an end.